start my computer. So buradan açabiliyor muyum?
Kapatabilirsiniz. Buradan takip edebilirsiniz isterseniz. Eğer herhangi bir notunuz yoksa.
Var. Onu açabilir miyiz?
O zaman başka bir bilgisayar getirmem gerek ya da kendi bilgisayarınızı isterseniz.
Kendi bilgisayarım hemen içeride. Alıp geleyim mi?
İsterseniz evet. Bunu kullanabilirsiniz.
Tamam, bunu vereceğim.
Ahmet Bey.
Tamam. Speaker disappeared and now it's okay. I'm on the scene. So I'm going to present in English because it's an international session. So sorry for my... Okay. So as Victoria said, I am an architectural engineer in the Department of Architecture at Kocaeli University. And I am a member of ICOMOS Turkey and I am in the National Committee. Today, actually, I would like to talk about the role of architectural heritage in urban resilience. And in 1999, there was a big earthquake in Izmit. It was really devastating. And after that, in 2023 earthquakes, we saw a bigger destruction. So I would like to give you the perspective of architectural heritage and how can we make resilient cities by using their tangible and intangible values. So actually I would like to focus, first part is devoted to Izmit. For the international audience, maybe Izmit is not so famous. Actually, it's all related with the Nicomedia, which was a capital city of Roman Empire during the Tetrarchy period. Then I would like to talk about some insights from the recent earthquakes, which was the epicenter of Kahramanmaraş, and I would like to express my experiences and my outcomes from the projects that I participated. So, okay, this is okay. So on 17 August 1999, there was a big earthquake occurred in Gölcük. The epicenter is Gölcük, which is close to Istanbul. Actually, I was one of the earthquake victim because my aunt, my cousin, and one of my relatives and the friends died after that earthquake. So we suffered a lot. And the number of people is announced officially is 17,480 people. And lots of houses and commercial places were collapsed, and 16 million people affected after that earthquake. So the magnitude was 7.4, and in 2010, the number of the people died was updated as 18,373, and 48,901 people were injured. So after 11 years, the number of the dead people was updated. Kocaeli actually is like an important city. It's an industrialized city, and it's located on the Gulf of the Marmara. And all the industry cities were moved from Istanbul to Kocaeli district after 60s. And paper factory was established in 1930s. And Navy shipyard was constructed in, again, 30s in Gölcük, and then automobile factories and tires and all kinds of industries were established in Kocaeli. But also, Izmit is full of cultural heritage. There are 82 registered historical sites and archaeological sites, and lots of buildings were registered and listed in the city. These are like Turkish baths, caravanserais, industrial structures, modern structures, Republic-era structures, and traditional civil architectures, fountains, and etc. So city has a unique way of tissue, like the urban tissue. So after 1999 earthquake, timber structures was quite good because, do we have, we don't have. The one on the left is a masjid. Actually, it's a really important masjid, and after the earthquake, it was still standing, so it was resilient and very nice performance, structural performance. And the other buildings, for example, in the middle below, the reinforced concrete structure was tilted due to the liquefaction, but the timber frame structure was okay after the 1999 earthquake. There are some damages out of plane mechanisms and etc., but people survived and they were okay after the earthquake. So the timber structures and performances was really good. There were some projects supported and funded by United Nations, earthquake engineering community, and some international experts, academicians, and etc. Lots of reports, articles, and publications were based on the performances of timber structures after 1999 earthquake. So, as I told you, the epicenter was Gölcük, and it was indicated by a red dot. You may see the exact location. And the map, the gray area was the settlement before earthquake. The white area is just after the settlements, just after the earthquake, and the yellow one is the permanent areas for the mass housing funded by government and international organizations. And these, before the earthquake, these parts were all villages, and their economy based on agriculture mainly. But on the coastline, there's a shipyard, and there's a Ford automobile factory. So it was started to turn to be an industrial area, but again, we could feel the sense of agricultural lifestyle and the skirts of the mountains, some on the mountains. So just after the earthquake, there was a report written by Demet Gülhan and İnce Özyörük Güney, which is a quite good report. Actually, we understood that written something after the report and damage assessment analysis is really necessary in order to compare and see the performances of vernacular architecture in the area. In this report, it's written that there are 1,255 buildings, and 25% of them is traditional in the Kavaklı neighborhood, which is indicated in the red square. And in 2011, me and Gül Köksal and the two master students wrote a project in order to make an inventory of the cultural heritage in this area, in this district. And after 12 years, we found 750 buildings, and only 9 structures were constructed in the traditional technique. So it's just like a 1%. So you may see that the reduction of the percentage is really huge. And in the district of Şehitler, according to the report 2000, written in 2000, they said that 285 people died in the reinforced concrete frame buildings, but only 3 people died in the traditional buildings. So the performance is really fascinating of the traditional structures in the epicenter of 1999 earthquake. There are some images. After 12 years, we made an inventory which is available in the internet. If you're interested, I would share the link. These structures were all good conditions. What I mean is a good condition. Structural condition is okay. There were not out-of-plane mechanisms. The slabs and the load-bearing structures are in a good condition. If we have a medium level of condition, it means that it could be restored like a basic repairs, and it's the bad meaning that it's partially damaged or heavily damaged. So if you consider about the 490 cultural heritage assets, so most of them are in a good and medium condition after 12 years, which means that it is the key of the resilience, the new settlements and the new structures, which is peculiar to the earthquake-prone zone. So there is an animation. I hope it works. By the Google Earth, I could go back to 2007. So you are seeing the comparison between 2007 and 2025. There are some villages here. For example, in the middle, you may see some settlements, rural settlements, which is called Saraylı. In the law, we don't have any rural heritage site. It's an urban heritage site, actually, but we may see the urban sprawl with the permanent buildings, and the lifestyle has been changed, and all the farm areas turned into mass housing areas. So we lost intangible and tangible assets surrounding of the city. So when we compare with the 2011 with 2019 and 2024, there could be some demolition and heavily damaged structures due to the lack of maintenance, due to the economical problems, and some problems regarding to the adaptation to the contemporary needs, and etc. And of course, after the pandemic, some structures turned into some other purposes, like tiny houses, and these structures were demolished, and the owners and the generations would like to have other type of typologies. So, but sometimes we can see the de facto structures. For example, these reinforced concrete structures were started to construct. We may see these kind of structures also in East Anatolia, in the middle, or the South Anatolia. But there were no unique traces and of the vernacular architecture inside the cities and inside the villages, and also its lifestyle. When we moved to the monumental structures, we had also some different perspectives. In the upper row, we have a very famous mosque, which is called Fevziye. Actually, it was demolished and constructed since 16th century, but in the middle one, it's originally dated back at the end of the 19th century. But after the 1999 earthquake, as you can see, the only failure is the out-of-plane mechanism in the gable. But then the conservation board decided to demolish it, and it was reconstructed again. In the middle, you may see the İdadi, I mean the Ottoman High School. Okay, it was changed a lot during the course of time, but in the middle, you may see just after the earthquake, and then it was demolished and constructed as a reinforced concrete structure. In the last row, we may see Mimar Sinan Mosque in Izmit. It's a really authentic and a nice building, but actually the condition was okay. There were slight cracks, and the minaret was demolished a bit. But after that, they restored and made interventions in a wrong way. They used reinforced concrete and the cement a lot. So the structure had some thermal issues, but now recently General Foundation intervened it again, and in a correct way. So the last picture and the last row represented the current condition. So if we look at Izmit, this is a city center, and the red lined, I mean the area which is indicated by the dash red shape means that it was all constructed after earthquake. So as you can see, this is a huge urban sprawl, and the shape and the urban fabric has changed a lot. After the earthquake, there was a rule: the maximum height should be limited with 3 stories, and it was implemented like 5 or 10 years, I am not so sure, but it was implemented for a long time. But after that, they changed it, and there were like high-rise buildings were constructed in these areas in Izmit, outskirts of Izmit. So these are the mass housing that you can see. The picture on the left was taken in 2008, and then they constructed this mass housing. This is called Erenler. And then there were like İzmit Kent Konut structures, first part, second part, and third part. You can see the number of the buildings in the surrounding. So this is another mass housing area. And now it's the urban transformation of the recent urban transformation in İzmit city center. So what happened here? So as I told you that İzmit is a really historical city. When you dig, you may see some cultural assets under the soil. So it's all like Nicomedia archaeological assets. And during the constructions, there were a lot of ancient structures which is related to the irrigation, graveyards or civil architectures, residential buildings, and sometimes it's like important cultural assets which belong to Nicomedia era. So, for example, there are some news in the newspapers. This is a transformation area, and that area indicated by red, yellow square, they turned into a protected garden because they found a very important asset there. And as you can see, we have necropole, Roma necropole, but luxury buildings and residentials were constructed on the top of the necropoles, and also in the next news you may see the similar update. So this is really important because there were some rules, the limitation of the number of stories, but then it turned into bigger projects, and it may influence the city fabric and also the history. So if I move to the 2023 earthquakes, lots of things from my experiences, because I was in the Adıyaman and Urfa in the 9th day of the earthquake. So there was a bit collaboration, ICOMOS Turkey and the General Foundation of Turkey, and we made some damage assessment to the mosques, and the cultural assets belong to the foundation. I was in Antakya with the World Monument Fund, and we had a project with heritage organization, ALİF and KMKD in Adana, Adıyaman and Maraş. So, and now I am the scientific committee in Adana foundation structures for 6 mosques. So I have some experiences. So what I would like to share with you is, that the resilience, I mean the social resilience. The top pictures was taken from Adıyaman and the 9th date of the earthquake. And the people, the citizens, they were coming to the downtown, no matter what happened there. I mean, Ulu Mosque was collapsed, Kap Mosque was partially collapsed. There was nothing there, but the people were coming to there because the survivors would like to see the monuments, and in terms of psychological reasons. Although landmarks were collapsed, the citizens were coming here, and in the right picture, it was the only shop, the bakery. They were giving free breads in the downtown, and there was a really huge queue, and the people were waiting for the bread after the earthquake. This is Birecik Hamam in the second row. The people were having a bath there because there was a problem with the water, sanitary, and they need to reach clean water. So the Turkish bath was a really important area, cultural heritage in terms of social resilience. And also the mosque was the shelter for the 10 families, because 10 families lost their houses, and they came here because of the availability of electricity and water, and also the weather was really cold. They used this area as a shelter. The one on the right was the bazaar, Antakya Bazaar. It was June, but although it collapsed, you may see the Mahremiye Mosque in the back, but the people were there and they would like to see the ancient bazaar. So it's really interesting to see the importance of the downtown after the earthquake. So if you look at the Adıyaman Kap Mosque, we may see some interesting insights also. There are some out-of-plane mechanisms in the load-bearing structures, and this mosque was originally dated back to 18th century. But in 1923, they changed the dome with the timber structure. It's Bağdadi. So the structure became lighter, and after the earthquake, when we made the damage assessment, it was really safe, and we saw nothing on the dome except the load-bearing structures was damaged, but the dome was really okay, and the structural performances looks good. So if we look at the civil architecture examples, these are taken from Saim Beyli on the left, and the upper part from Adana. Actually, they were abandoned before the earthquake, but still their performances was nice. And then below there were some case studies from Adıyaman. These structures were good example to see about the physical resilience of the structure when we see the timber performances of the area. So it means that these structures is telling something to us about earthquake and traditions and tangible and intangible values. So actually I would like to take your attention to that project, because with the heritage management, Alif and KMKD, we visited Adana, Maraş and Adıyaman together, and we devoted some part to Maraş, and we found really interesting results. We visited Andırın, 12 Şubat, Dulkadiroğlu and Elbistan, and we visited 197 structures. This is really important for us because we developed the damage assessment form because we couldn't find any form after the 1999 earthquake. We developed it and we implemented it for the different neighborhoods, and at the end we may have these forms which is available in the links that I showed in the previous links. There are some reports, and at the end these damage assessment forms are available for the audience, for the experts who is interested in the damage assessment. So we found a very interesting cases because this is Elbistan, Kızılcaoba neighborhood. 32 structures were visited and analyzed. It contains significant examples of adabı structures, as you can see on the left. There is no earthquake related damages for the structures or very low level of damages in the Elbistan, in this neighborhood. Despite surviving earthquakes with little or no damages, these structures we didn't see any severe damages in the structures. So there were some problems due to the time or abandonment and etc., but nothing related to the seismicity. So, but we need to promote this kind of behavior and this kind of vernacular architecture when we reconstruct the city, and we need to care about the cultural heritage messages after the earthquake. So there are some examples here, as you can see from Elbistan. These buildings managed this devastating earthquake despite being neglected, and they have an important place for the memory of the city and also for the community. During the field survey, especially the women explained us how to construct such kind of structures. They know the methodology, they know the technique, and they know the technical aspects of these buildings, because there is this mother and the lamp system, and I would like to show in the next slide here. So this is ana kuzu. So the mother one is a bigger one, and the kuzu is the smaller one, and they have this technique. In the one row, Ana is in the interior, and in the second row, Kuzu is in the interior. So they just interlock the rows, and they know how to construct it. And this knowledge is still there, and we need to take it and apply in somewhere else's, and trying another approaches for the reconstruction of Maraş. Finally, these are the results. So I would like to take your attention in the chart on the right. So the half of the structure from Dulkadiroğlu and 12 Şubat, Andırın and Elbistan, half of the structure, there is no damages or slightly damages. Very little one is heavily damaged or severely damaged. And Elbistan is telling us very important knowledges regarding to the selection of the soil and ground and the construction techniques and the continuity of the traditions. So this is my final slide. So this area is an open laboratory. So it's a big shaking table, and we experience every structure. In terms of historical one, skyscrapers, let's say high-rise buildings, and medium-level buildings, and the small-scale buildings like barns and etc. So it's really like a big shaking table for including 9 or 10 cities. But also it is an opportunity to have different approaches and systems to be applied. So the morning section was really inspiring. So because there are some, there should be some community-based approaches, not from top down, but we need to also have a possibility to down to top approaches too. So resilience, circularity, and sustainability, they were all hidden in the historical sites, in all scales, in all tangible and intangible way. So we need to behave the structures and approach it tangible and intangible. So we need to provide a participative design and deduce the data from the vernacular architecture and design and plan with this old but very important knowledge. Thank you. I would like to conclude that, as I told you, I am an earthquake survivor, and I lost my aunt like 26 years ago, and today it was her birthday, so it's a really nice coincidence. I would like to thank you, and we should have stories about the construction of the cities. Thank you very much.